Dexter Morgan was one of the most successful serial killers in American history, with a kill count that reached the hundreds. With an almost perfect code, he was able to not only hone his craft, but expand and explore new rituals. Despite this, Dexter never gained an interest to use firearms, and on multiple occasions, only briefly mentioned he doesn't like guns. Today, I wanted to put my finger on Dexter's no gun rule and discuss this overlooked fact about the character. The first and most obvious reason why Dexter doesn't choose guns as his primary weapon is because of the code. Out of the 12 rules he has to follow, not one mentions him not being able to use a firearm, but his choice of not doing so links to rule number 1, don't get caught. A big downside to using guns is the fact that they leave evidence, a great contrast to what he learned from Harry about leaving no forensic trail. Dexter would have to take ballistics, shells, traceable bullets, and gunshot residue all into consideration. This would be far less convenient than the OCD method he chooses to use, although it wouldn't be impossible. But let's face it, the real reason Dexter doesn't fully turn into the Punisher is because weapons lack intimacy. For Dexter, taking life is about control and the immense satisfaction he feels in the moment. A moment prolonged that never lasts. If he were to use a gun, it would not only be far too quick to satisfy him, but also create distance between him and the victim. Dexter makes it apparent from the start that he doesn't want to remain a stranger to his targets. He wants them to be fully aware of his presence. He mentions multiple times that his victims are the only people that get to see the real him, and he takes great pride in confronting them. A gun would simply distance Dexter from the face-to-face judgment he is so used to performing. Another thing that is made clear from the start of the series and the books is that Dexter hates messy work. Thanks to his suppressed trauma at the time, Blood had a complicated relationship with Dex. Although it set order to the chaos, it also set his teeth on edge. We see in the first episode of season 1 that he is amazed when looking at the first known ice truck killer victim. No blood. No sticky, hot, messy, awful blood. Why hadn't I thought of that? Not only did this crime scene impress him, it also showed his view on taking life. It's an art to him, and if he was an artist, he would be a professional. Alongside his belief in him being a neat monster with his code and ritual, Dexter has a certain professionalism. I think Dexter believes guns are for amateurs and make the game way too easy. Pair this with his early preference of no it's safe to say Dex wouldn't use a gun anytime soon. On the topic of Dexter's early career, I think it's important to remember Dex actually used a rifle to hunt animals when Harry was trying to control his urge. After the heart attack Harry induces, this kickstarts Dexter's career. So why no guns? To me, I think the weapons Dexter got used to using when hunting animals wouldn't suffice when hunting individuals because they lack exploration. At this point in Dexter's life, he was the most curious and wanted to dig deeper into his craft. A weapon that spat bullets would be far more limited than a blade for reasons we all know. But hey, with an imagination like Dexter's, he could probably still make it work. Although I do ultimately believe a gun would still present more cons than pros. In spite of Dexter's preference, he has used guns in multiple instances. To list some honorable mentions, Dexter has used guns in the shooting range, and when hunting with Harry in his teenage years, and hunting alone in his older years. In season 2, he attempts to use a tranquilizer gun against Little Chino, and in season 3, he plays Halo 3 in Miguel Prado's office.
What are you doing in my office?
Winning.
In a more traditional sense, Dexter has only one victim with a gun, which was the smuggler Tio Famosa in season 2. And when he leaves Harry behind and sees Brian Moser as his dark passenger in season 6, he uses a pistol on the highway, showcasing him tasting a life he could have had, but plainly, him losing his damn mind. With my thoughts coming to an end, the fact is Dexter doesn't use guns for his kills because they're noisy, make a mess, and are easier to trace. Coupled with the joy for taking life, is pretty much confirmed by imaginary Brian, a figment of his consciousness, that Dexter likes to look his victim in the eyes and watch the light go out. Don't get it twisted. Dexter is well versed with a gun, but there are many reasons why he absolutely refuses to use one. If you enjoyed hearing me yap about unanswered Dexter questions, follow the first rule of the code and subscribe. It may seem small to you, but it means the world to me. Have an amazing day.
Bending into your will. Winning